of it in your packet. Please follow along with the measure numbers. Now the slow etude is Adagio cantabile. The etude cut is from beat 3, from the beginning to beat 3 of measure 24. Now take a look at the marked tempo. It's quarter note equals 60 to 72. It's a very beautiful lyrical etude. Just think about how would you sing this. Take a look at the articulations. Lots of tongue, lots of slur. Make sure that you can hear it. You can check it by recording yourself. Okay, look at measure 1. You want to start soft, but not too soft. Be sure that the note speaks. And the way you'll check is you need to practice different dynamic levels so that you know your own dynamic limits. Take a look at measure 2, beat 3. You want to play the full-length eighth note. And don't clip the end of that phrase. It's a full-length eighth note. At measure 3, the triplets, we often rush those. Practice this with a metronome and play to the concert G, which is the third beat. Let me demonstrate that. This is the pickup to measure 3. We're moving on. So take a look at measure 6. You want to take a deep breath, but a quick breath after beat 3, and don't rush the 16th notes after that. Once again, check that with a metronome. Let me demonstrate that at measure 6. Measures 7 through 8, you can save enough air to make it through the full phrase and get a quick but a big breath at measure 6. And pace your air so you don't run out at measure 8. Take a look at 9. Make sure this rhythm is correct. You want to practice this phrase by playing 16th notes instead of what's written. That's only in practice. Often the rhythm is played too slow or too fast. So once again, practice playing 16ths at measure 9. Let me demonstrate. Take a look at 14. Once again, 16 notes there. Check that with the metronome. Oftentimes we rush. At 15, we've got some accents there. Now I want you to think small decrescendo when you think accent. Or you could think unaccent the notes around the accent. Some students are taught to play with accents that are too hard-hitting. So take a look at the accent. Doesn't it look like a small decrescendo? If you play it that way, it may sound different. Now, 15 through 16, moving on, measure 15 should lead to 16, and don't break that phrase. At 16, you'll notice a rallentando. That means we're going to slow down gradually, not all at once. At 16 to 17, take a look. I've heard this two different ways. So to breathe or not to breathe, right there. Either way, you got to play it musically. Let me demonstrate breathing between 16 and 17. Okay, that's with a breath. Let me demonstrate without a breath. Once again, either way you choose, play it musically. The safer way probably would be to not breathe since there is no breath, but I have heard it both ways. At 19, we see triplets again. Once again, don't rush those. Take a look at 22 to 23. You want to push that low G that goes to the high E flat. Have you ever heard of push the low, float the high? Okay, that's what we're talking about. A lot of times students do the opposite. They push to the low and to the high note. Let me demonstrate that. This is what we don't want to do. This is 22. Now here's pushing the low G to the high E flat and letting it float. I just think it sounds more musical to let that high note float rather than to force it. Measure 23 to 24. Once again, that rallentando. Make it gradual, not all at once, and it leads to 24. I always imagine this part of the music is when I'm lying down in bed and finally going to sleep. Let me demonstrate that. Okay, let's go ahead and run through the entire etude from beginning to end.